Marcus Kerr is just one of hundreds of producers in northwest Queensland who've lost thousands of cattle. And I just wanted to get a producer's perspective of how everything played out and where they are at the moment. So Marcus, Shelley had left and to take your youngest daughter back to Brisbane to school, and you stayed home. So why did you not join Shelley in Brisbane?
Because we're in the middle of the worst drought we've had in about 20 years, I reckon.
Yeah.
And so we were originally planning to go to Tamworth and do all the Tamworth deal, and I wasn't going to go. I was humming and ahhing whether I was going to go anyway. It rained. So.
Yeah. So we spoke with Peter and Susan Dowling about Tamworth, and it's a huge deal for people in the bush to go and visit and do a bit of work and play. So when it rained, you decided yes you'd go. So we all ended up down in Tamworth for the week and looking forward to the week, and everybody was pretty happy, weren't they?
The first 2 days were a lot of fun.
Yeah, and relaxed. So when did you start hearing reports of how bad things were getting at home?
I spoke to Scott Woods, he manages Wednesday, Yorkshire for me, and it rained, I think it rained like 3 or 4 inches, and then it just kept going, kept raining and raining, and then I eventually got a chopper out and he went for a fly, and he came back and he said, I reckon you lost about 300. And
so until he went up, did he know?
He couldn't get out. We didn't
so
even know.
No one knew.
I knew it'd be tough because it had rained and boggy, and they were weak cattle, they were drought cattle, and it was the perfect cocktail. I always say it was like 6 weeks of 45-degree heat, and then rain for 11 days, nothing to eat, weak cattle, and then got cold. So it was like the perfect cocktail for it. Disaster, really. But at that stage, it was a couple of days in, 2 or 3 days in, and he eventually got a chopper and went for a fly, and he came back and said, well, you've lost about 300, I reckon. And I went, oh, no, that was a kick. And I went, oh.
So what day was that?
What, I don't know. It was a couple of days into Tamworth when we got down there.
Yeah, right.
I thought, oh, well, hopefully it'll clear up soon. It's a big loss. I remember saying to Shelley, surely we wouldn't lose all of them. Surely it wouldn't rain for that long. They had nothing to eat.
Yeah.
And we both actually said, no, it's not going to happen. And lo and behold, that's what happened.
Well, it was just so hard to imagine that even could happen, wasn't it? Like never having seen anything like that.
Well, no one's. I think there was something in '76, but nothing on this scale.
Yeah.
It was horrendous, terrible.
So Marcus, there were quite a few, Western families down in Tamworth. So do you think it helped that you were because you couldn't get home, could you? So did it help being together?
What it did really, and we were frustrated because we wanted to get back, and you wouldn't have been able to get down there if we did get back, and it was sort of frustrating. With nothing we could have done anyway. Yeah. But it was good. It was there's 4 or 5 different families there, McMillans and my brothers. We're all there, so it made a difference.
Yeah. And Marcus, when you eventually realised towards the end of the week that, or you made the decision to try to get back, and you went back to Brisbane, your son Jake was planning to go to the States, and he ended up cancelling his trip so he could go home to help. But you left Emily, your youngest daughter, behind at boarding school. How difficult do you think that was for Em? Because she's a big part of everything.
I guess you sort of forget that sort of things. Like she had her own feelings about it, and she was upset to see all of us upset, and then she got left by herself. And I think there's not just her, there's other kids at school that went through the same deal. Yeah. And it's hard on everyone, I guess, and she was on her own, so it would have been hard.
Yeah, because you want to be together as a family too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So you arrived home. So what was the process when you got home? You went to Yelvertoft, which hadn't been.
Had a night at Yelvertoft because I still really couldn't get out there. Organised a helicopter, drove to Judah Creek, and a couple of fellows there organised it. Said, "You're on your own. You be prepared for it." The child pilot said, "Be prepared for what you're about to see." And I So
So could you ever have been prepared for?
no, not really. I sort of was, but you could never, till you see it. It was like, you know, when you see 500, 2 to 3, 4, 500 dead cattle in every corner, you know, it's. I remember saying, got my head all good for it, and we flew back, and there's 5 dingoes about to kill a calf that was standing beside his dead mother. I was like, that was like the top tipped me over the edge. Like it was.
Yeah. That's interesting, isn't it? All these dead cattle
Dead,
around,
yeah,
and
that's what I
they
said,
go to try to kill the one thing that was alive.
That's why I said, geez, you couldn't go and eat the dead ones. Like,
Yeah.
There's about 5,000 of them there.
Yeah, I'm amazed that the dingoes all survived, because I just thought everything would get, you know, would have suffered death.
Well, the kangaroos, I mean, there's dead kangaroos everywhere.
Yeah. So Marcus, what was that process like of burying the cattle? How did that go?
Yeah, terrible process, but it was. My brother-in-law Damien Brock said he was going down 2 metres to get to the bottom. I just packed into the mud, and he said it's a bit gruesome to say this probably now here, but he said the bones on the bottom ones were like jelly, and they just packed into the corners and to get out of the cold really. So yeah, no, it was a terrible job.
And I imagine the smell on the machinery too would have taken a long time to, you know, the cleaning of the machinery after it was all done.
And in the process of that now we haven't quite finished, but it's the smell was all day. I mean, the girls, you heard them talk this morning, Cal, about they didn't eat breakfast because by smoker they were vomiting, you know, so they just didn't eat breakfast. Like, it was a terrible job.
Yeah. And Marcus, have you been buoyed by the support that you've received? Because I know Alan Jones has been in contact with you a fair bit, hasn't he?
Yes, yep.
So is that has that been a good thing to know that you've got so much support from all sectors?
Really good.
Yeah.
As I said before, like the support has been unbelievable from every sector. It's been, you know, to know you've got someone like Alan Jones on your side and in your corners, it's a pretty powerful one.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, the Prime Minister's been unbelievable, really.
Yeah.
Like he when he came up and talked to all the graziers at Judah Creek, he could tell he was emotional about it.
Yeah. Well, you know what, from the outside looking in, you don't normally hear governments giving or political parties giving each other a pat on the back, but you know, from all accounts, I think everyone's fairly happy with how it's gone.
Yeah.
And the support and the open line that you have to government.
Yeah, no, I think it is. Put it this way, after the election it could be a lot worse.
Yeah. What's the way forward for you as a business? Have you had support in helping you look to the future and work out a good business plan?
Yeah, well, I'll give him a bit of a plug. We use Brennan Main in Emerald, Jim Brennan and Brad Castle, and they have been tremendous. Like, we sat down there for 2 days after it, and I actually wasn't in a very good headspace still, and they went through everything, and we're still working on things here and there, but they were really, really good and sort of got me on the front foot and hopefully come out the other side, you know, which has been really, it's been good. Yeah.
So that's been a really important step.
Yeah, it has.
For you to have that help and to see a way forward as far, you know, with your business.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah.
They've been unbelievable.
Yeah.
Would have been a lot tougher job without them, to be honest.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Marcus, for sharing your story. It's really a very important one to tell.
Thanks, guys. Good on you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks so much for watching our video. I hope you enjoyed it, and please try to remember to just click on the subscribe button so we can keep you updated with everything that's happening. Thank you. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed Marcus and Shelley's story. I just wanted to add a couple of things. Firstly, Marcus and Shelley ended up losing over 4,000 head of cattle. And also, over the last couple of nights, we've talked a little bit about dropping kids at boarding school. And what I want to let everybody know who may not understand where we live, we're often hundreds of kilometres away from our nearest school, and our kids grow up doing distance ed through their primary years, and the only other option apart from distance ed going into high school is boarding school. So that's why a lot of bush kids, or most bush kids, go to boarding school. It's not a luxury for us, it's totally a necessity. And the other thing I wanted to mention was when I had the pleasure of being a guest at Yelvertoft with Marcus and Shelley one night, and I noticed that they were just getting on with things, and that to me showed that they were thinking of their future and not just sitting around mulling over what had happened. And I kind of thought that was an important part of their healing process. Tonight we are catching up with Michael and Karina Leake, who own the Julia Creek Hardware, so you will get a perspective of what it's going to be like going into the future, being a small business owner in a small community that has been affected by tragedy. So thank you, and I hope you enjoy Michael and Karina's story tomorrow night. Thank you.